I wasted almost an entire year of my running career running slow. Back then, and even still today, every single running influencer told you need to run in zone 2, below 70% of your heart rate max, in order to be faster at a lower heart rate. So that's exactly what I did, and for I think like 10 months straight, I ran exclusively slow zone 2. And guess what? I didn't get faster, I got slower. Negative progress for the win. So if you've been taught that the key to running faster is running slower, this video is for you. Because the truth is, zone 2 can absolutely work wonders, and it surely does work, but only if you meet some very specific criteria. So that's what this is going to be about. So when I started taking running more seriously, I kept hearing, you need to run slow to get fast, you need to run at a low heart rate, zone 2, that is where the money's at. And based on that newly acquired knowledge of needing to go slow all the time, I spent, as I said, about 10 months running exclusively at a slow pace and barely pushing myself at all, because that's what was supposed to make me fast as fuck. So I was running about 3 times a week, something between 35 to 55 kilometers per week. So not running a lot, but it's not nothing. About 50k isn't that bad of a spot to start. Trying to hold my heart rate below 70% of my heart rate max, the magical number, and waiting for a sudden burst of progress to just appear out of nowhere. Suddenly being able to run my 5-minute per k paces with a 140 beats per minute heart rate, whilst running a 7-minute per k pace with a 135 beats per minute heart rate. Well, that was quite unreasonable, wasn't it? Absolutely nothing changed. That is the reality of it. I didn't make any progress, and contrary to what I was hoping for, my performance actually has gotten worse. So I was actually getting slower. My running felt harder. It was getting less and less fun, because let's be honest, running at a super slow pace all the time, just being like literally being a snail, like shuffling your way across your running route, that isn't any fun. And as I said, I was getting slower. The runs were feeling harder and harder, and I was thinking, Jesus, something is going supremely wrong, and you might just be in the same situation. But let's get to the key lessons. So why doesn't zone 2 exclusively work, and how can we actually make it work? So zone 2 obviously works, we all know it. It is the base foundation of a regular running plan. It should be the base foundation of the regular running week. But it can only work if we're actually running enough and pushing our bodies far enough. So that means if you're only running 20 kilometers per week, or let's say 30 kilometers per week, exclusively running at your zone 2 will potentially not be enough to stimulate any adaptation whatsoever. On top of that, a very, very overseen point in my personal opinion, as a beginner runner, you are slow. You are very slow. And because you do not have a solid base, running exclusively at your zone 2 will make it supremely hard to actually stack kilometers and have fun. So trying to aim to build a somewhat decent base to then start implementing proper zone 2 running. This may seem kind of counterintuitive, because I'm literally telling you, wait with the specific zone 2 training till you are at a higher level of performance, so that the zone 2 doesn't suck as much. But that's exactly what I mean. Especially in the beginning, as a beginner runner, it doesn't matter if you are pushing harder or not. You can run it in zone 3 or 4, or just not pay any attention to that whatsoever. If you're running 20, 30, 40 kilometers per week and easily recovering between the sessions, it's only about, can you recover, how does your body feel, and can you progress? As long as you can do that, it doesn't matter if it's zone 2, 3 or 4. Like, let's be honest, it's about having fun and making progress. And you're probably going to progress at a higher rate, running 20 to 30, maybe 40 kilometers, if you're going slightly faster than zone 2 and just crawling across the street. It's about hitting the right amount of training stimulus that you can still recover from, and that stimulates adaptation. That is the most important point. So as we have now established, the most important point isn't is it zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, it is, are we hitting the right amount of training stimulus? Training stimulus is the key word. We need to stimulate adaptation through whatever way we want to drive that. And if we are at a point where we cannot run enough to stimulate adaptation just through zone 2 training, then it might just be the right time to do some zone 3 work, zone 4 work, do some tempo runs, do some intervals, the harder stuff. Something that is so severely overlooked, and I do not know why. I have done the same mistake. Please don't continue wasting your potential. So what exactly did I do to move from not making any progress and just hating the process of running to now running at a 5 minute per K pace, actually in reality 4 minutes 45, and actually just enjoy the process so much more? Let's dive into it. So the new approach is actually pretty basic. It's super simple and only logical based on what I already told you guys. Still include easy running, full recovery, and just to add to the mileage. Zone 2 is where you can stack miles on miles on miles of work without exhausting your body too much. And that is exactly what it should be used for. Recovery and just adding the mileage in order to optimize your training stimulus. Making your body and mind more resilient and building the strong base. That is what it is for. But it cannot be the only driver of progress. So in order to make sure that we're still progressing and actually getting the speedy gains, being fast and furious, we're gonna add quality sessions. And with quality sessions, I mean the tempo runs, I mean the intervals, I mean the long runs with faster efforts in between. Those grueling, hard workouts that are gonna kick your ass so severely that you would gladly change those for them nice easy runs. The easy runs are the base of the pyramid, but what truly builds speed, resilience, and the ability to push hard even though you're feeling shit, yeah, that's those quality sessions. And surrounding both of these relevant parameters is for sure the general weekly volume and total weekly stimulus. So you need to make sure that you're actually running enough, but not running too much, not pushing the hard sessions too far. The standard 80-20 method, 80% of your training should be easy and 20% should be pretty damn hard. And with that being said, you should be able to make some pretty decent progress and force your way towards that beloved adaptation. But let's give you an example of how such a training week could look like. In my specific case, I have exactly 3 easy runs, 1 hard session and 1 long run, which also kind of counts as a hard session, but it is a pretty long run. And depending on what you prefer, that could also be 4 or 5 easy runs, but I personally prefer having longer easy runs. So my easy runs are between 16 to 20 kilometers at this point of time. I have a 16k zone 2 run on my Monday, a chill 20k on my Tuesday, and then on Thursday I do have another 18k easy run. And that is where I get the majority of my training volume in with these easy runs. And between those easy runs, on Wednesday I have my 12k interval session, which is primarily intervals, 5x2k, sometimes even 6x2k. So I'm basically just doing intervals. And then I have the most important session of the week, the Saturday long run, where I'm actually pushing 30 to, I think the longest run of this entire prep is going to be 40k, but majority around 30 to 36 kilometers, and actually having quite a bit of faster pace work in between there. And during those long runs, I actually do not mind if the easy part isn't as easy, so I might just be running in my zone 3 for the majority of the run and then just adding zone 4 and zone 5 into the mix, doing 4 to 5k marathon pace blocks or even 10k blocks. This Saturday I'm gonna have a 32k progression run, increasing the pace every 8 to 10 kilometers and ending the run with a nice 10k marathon pace effort. Wow, that's gonna be horrendous, but it's gonna do wonders for my performance. It's really gonna level up my fitness, and it's probably gonna ensure that I don't die during the marathon, because I'm attempting sub 3 and that is pretty fast for me. That is how my training week is currently looking like. That is how I try to manage fatigue and still get enough stimulus in and actually make me fast and furious. So far it's been doing absolute wonders. Like, my performance is increasing at a rapid rate and I couldn't be happier. So if you're only running slow because somebody told you that zone 2 is the magic key for success and high performance, ask yourself, am I actually doing enough to improve? Like, am I actually pushing my body hard enough or not? And am I truly making any progress? Look at your paces, look at the data, back it up. And if the answer is no, then maybe it is time to start going a little faster here and there and actually adding some proper structure to your training. So be smarter and run harder, or you're just gonna be slow forever. We don't want that. And if you enjoyed this week's video, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe. Comment something if you're feeling extra cheeky, because I would really appreciate that. So thanks a lot for watching and see you guys for next week's video. Bye!